I've been lifting pretty consistently for about 5 years now, and it's a big reason why I've been able to run a sub 3 hour marathon, finish 100-mile races. I ran a 50 miler at an average pace of 8:35 per mile. So, strength work is a big part of my success, and I think more importantly, besides the records and winning things, I think what really this does for me is helps me avoid injury. And I think that's an obvious one. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are afraid of strength training for a lot of reasons, or in fact, they got injured from it, or maybe they're worried about getting injured, or maybe they're coming back from injuries. And so it's like, if you fractured a foot, and I got this comment the other day, I fractured my foot, like any tips for returning to strength training? I think these tips are for anyone, not even if you're returning or you're new to it. I think in general you should follow these couple things I'm going to talk about. But yeah, if you're injured, you definitely want to be cautious, right? And if you broke something, I can get that there's maybe even a little mental barrier between you and lifting. And so let's talk about the things, whether you're coming back from injuries or just getting into strength training in general, or maybe you've been lifting for a while and you're just trying to improve it. Let's talk about this. So, in the example of returning back from an injury and being fractured, you obviously need to make sure you're fully healed, right? I wouldn't, recommend the whole push through it if you broke something or tore something. Now, I do think you should still be active, but that's a different conversation. When it comes to injuries in the gym, I believe there's a couple common problems. You're ego lifting. You're lifting more than you can do comfortably and controlled, and you need to cut that shit out. It's just not cool. I don't have respect for people that can squat 400 pounds, but the range of motion is shit, or they have to use a lot of momentum. It doesn't look cool to me. I think it's in fact, dangerous. And I respect someone who can do a deep squat at 135 pounds more than somebody who does a 450-pound squat, but it's quarter of the range of motion. Sure, I know there's like training philosophies of like not going all the way through range of motion, but that's just not for me. I don't think it's cool. So ego lifting is a big issue, and the other part is like a full range of motion. So if you're not fully doing a set or rep, for example, like biceps, the way I like to think about it is I want to extend all the way out and not like lock out where I'm pushing something, but I'm going to stretch all the way because I want to work those tendons and ligaments as well. And so I have a lot of people who have told me like, no, don't go all the way out. I think it's actually a good thing because I'm getting the full range. I'm working to every section, every part of my body. With squats, I ask to grass. Like I'm going to squat as deep as I possibly can, and that means I lift less than if I was doing like these half or quarter squats. And so I think it's really important to research and like Google or just look into what the range of motion is for each exercise you're doing. So if you're returning from that injury, or maybe you're just trying to get better at strength training, I think you need to just spend time, whether you're working out, like this is what I would do in between sets. I'd just be Googling proper form for like preacher curls or squats or rows or whatever you're doing for strength training. I would just look at how to have a proper form and go light. And I promise you, you don't need to overdo it, especially if you're a runner. It's not like you're trying to become a bodybuilder. You're just trying to feel good and avoid injuries and get a little bit of strength. So it's okay to go light, and even if you feel weak, well then keep going to the gym and be consistent. Like I've benched 225 as a runner, I've deadlifted 315, and I've squatted 250, so I need to get my squat up there. But my point being, like, because I've been consistent and I have not ego lifted and I've worked on a full range of motion, it's just good and healthy, and I haven't been injured from the gym, and I don't get those shoulder pains. And sure, I'm not lifting as heavy as like bodybuilders per se, and I'm not going as much because I'm really just trying to support my running, but I don't get those back pains. I don't get those shoulder pains because I do not ego lift and I use a full range of motion. So that would be my biggest word of caution, is if you're getting into the gym or you're just trying to improve it, is like go light so you can do controlled reps and you can get the stretch and you can contract the muscles very well. It's not worth it to ego lift because you can hurt yourself, or even if you don't hurt yourself today, you're not getting an efficient, effective workout, in my opinion. So hopefully this helps you get back into strength trainer. Just look at it. Again, just Google like good form for whatever exercise you're doing. That would be my biggest concern, is making sure you're doing proper form. So spend some time researching that. The other thing is just protein and eating enough. If you're running and lifting weights, or even if you're just doing one or the other, your body needs fuel, man, and protein is really important. Obviously, we should all know that. And if you don't, I think what you should do is look for a gram of protein roughly per pound of body weight. That's what I typically focus on, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But that would be the other thing, is make sure you're getting your protein in and calories in general so that you can repair the muscles and you can have the fuel to work out hard and hydrate. I think it's very simple. Good form, eat and drink water. I think if you do those things and you're consistent over time, I mean, it's going to be great and you won't regret it. I do not regret the gym. I haven't injured myself in the gym, and maybe I will someday, but I know if I follow the guidelines I'm setting out, it's way less likely that happens. So then you have to look at what kind of workout program you might want to follow and what your goals are in the gym. That's the other thing. For me, I'm just trying to get stronger, so I might work out differently than someone who wants to put on as much muscle as possible. So there's a lot of different variations there, but ultimately get in the gym, eat and drink water and have good form. And I think you'll really fall in love with it. I know I have, and it's definitely benefited my running. And I just also like the way I look, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of what I've built. So hopefully that helps if you're getting into the gym or just trying to get better at it and better at lifting weights. If you like running fitness content or that type of stuff, that's what this channel is about. I'm trying to help people learn from my mistakes, avoid injuries, and just deepen their connection with running, because running has saved my life quite literally. And I hope maybe things I say can help you too when it comes to running. So if you like that kind of stuff, consider subscribing. And if not, I still hope you got something out of this video. I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.